spirit for the Lord, I can't turn down. Talking too much, bruh, it's time for you to learn now.
So what they hearing, they offended, get now.
How you doing, sister? So what you got a question for me, sister?
No, I'm just listening.
You just listening? All right. So we out here showing our people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're part of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You ever heard of Israelites before? Okay, what you know about it? Okay, but you've heard of it before? You read the Bible?
No.
Okay. A lot of people don't read the Bible because we don't know that's actually our history book. What's your nationality? Who do you see yourself in?
Black.
So-called black. So black would be from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel, right? So that's what God calls you. Right. So nowhere in the Bible does, because you say black is just a color. That's not a nationality. That's not a heritage behind it. So now so let's see. I'm gonna show you something. Did you know our slave trade was prophesied to happen in the Bible? Okay, I'm gonna show you why we say we the Israelites. How do we know that? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 15. What? But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So God said it's going to happen in the future. So this is Moses speaking to the Israelites in the wilderness. So after we came out of Egypt, we was freed from slavery. Because when Egypt, we was enslaved, right? So after we came out, he said, hey, it's going to happen in the future if you don't listen to God. Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded this day.
He said if we don't hearken and do all the statutes and the commandments. Now our people today, we don't know God's commandments. We haven't been taught that. What kind of church did you go to growing up? You never went to church before at all?
No, I've been to church, but I didn't.
Okay, so what was your family raised as? What religion?
We weren't part of a church.
Okay, but what kind of church did you visit?
Christian church.
Okay, you don't know the denomination?
I've visited several churches.
Okay, so a lot of people, we have a lot of different doctrines in our head, but the majority of the Christianity teaching, they're not teaching about the commandments of God. They're not teaching that. Read.
And his statutes, which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
God said that we would be cursed as a nation of people. He said if we didn't hearken to the commandments, which our people have not been taught today, we haven't been taught the commandments in these religions. He said we was going to be cursed as a nation of people. Give me that in verse 68. So I'm going to give you one of these curses that happened to our people. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So God said he would bring us into Egypt again. Now when our people left out of Egypt, it was what? Slaves. We were slaves. Read that real quick. Give me Egypt. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
Did you hear what he just called Egypt? House of bondage. Another word for bondage would be what? Slavery. So he said Egypt is a word that means slavery. So now when God said, we go back to Deuteronomy 28.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
God said he was going to bring us back into Egypt or slavery with what?
With ships.
With ships. Now that happened to the so-called black and Hispanic man. He said, now look at the sign. So right here, we have depictions of those ships that they put our people on. He said we was going to go back into Egypt slavery with ships. Now did that happen to anybody else besides our people? No, it didn't happen to anyone. So now this Bible is talking about our history. That was Bible prophecy, but now it's our history. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So we go, hey, come over here, brothers. Y'all got a question for me, or y'all just come over here?
He's showing something. Yeah, because I'm showing them how, like, why they divide us and why they not tell us that we the same people. Like, what's the
okay. What are you saying nationality is? So my sister here, she says she's from the tribe of Judah, so-called black man.
I'm Issachar.
Issachar,
I'm a Mexican.
Okay, all praises. What about you, brother?
Same.
Issachar, from the tribe of Issachar, right? But now they don't teach us who we are. They try to separate us through language and through region, right? Because now we separating all these different lands, then we lost our heritage. So we going over what happened to our people. Read that 68 again. So God is telling us this is one of the curses that he put on our people to let us know who we are. Read that.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So we just went over that Egypt means slavery. The word Egypt means slavery. Go back to that real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
Did you hear what they call Egypt?
The house of bondage.
Which is another word for bondage is what?
Slavery.
Slavery. So now, right there, so we got, go back to that, Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So he said, you Israelites, because you disobeyed the commandments, you're going to go into slavery again with ships. Not just any ships, cargo slave ships. Now that happened to so-called black man, and it happened to so-called Hispanics. Because when Christopher Columbus came over here, what was the first thing he did? When he came, what was the people called that came over here and took over this land?
Native Americans.
No, the people that came over here and took...
Pilgrims.
No. What they call themselves? It started with a C. That's close. Conquistadors. Conquistadors. They came over, Columbus and his conquistadors, they came over here, and after him it was Hernan Cortez. And what did they do? Stay with me, sister. The first thing they did was take slaves. That's what, so the black man went into slavery on slave ships, but before that, the so-called Hispanic man went into slavery on slave ships. Right? They took us in the Pinta, the Santa Marina, right? Those 3 ships that came over here, those were slave ships. So now the Bible is telling you what happened to our people. Read that.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spoke unto thee.
By the way he said it would happen, go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
And we haven't seen our homeland. Our true homeland is Jerusalem. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And when our people got off those slave ships, when the so-called black man got over here, they were sold to the Caucasian man. When our brothers who were taken from here back to Spain, they were sold to the Caucasian man. So now God told us that was going to happen. He prophesied, and now it became our history. So let's let you know that the Israelites that would happen to, that only happened to our people.
That's right.
Give me that verse 37.
Verse 37.
No, about the sign.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for it.
So he said the they is the curses that we're reading about. The prophecy of the slave ships, he said that's a curse. He said they, read,
and they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So you going into the slave ships will be upon our people as a sign, because that never happened to anybody else but the blacks and Hispanics and the Native Americans. That didn't happen to the Chinese. That didn't happen to the Arabs. That only happened to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the Israelites of the Bible. Read.
And for a wonder.
So they're going to be on us for a sign to show you who you are, and a wonder to now you looking at it like, wait a minute, that is in the Bible and that happened to my people. So how does the Bible tell me what's happening with my people?
Read out.
Because that's your book.
Right.
But we've lost that. We've been disconnected from that. Read.
And upon thy seed forever.
And it will only ever apply to us. No, you can't fit this with any other nation of people besides the blacks and Hispanics.
Right.
Nowhere in the Bible do you read about this happening to any other group of people besides our people right here. You understand me? So read verse 32 real quick.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
God said our sons and daughters will be given to another people. Now what's happening at the border today? Like around Texas and all that. What's happened to our children?
They're separating their families.
They're separating
Deportation.
Deportation, what else? Well, you hit it on the head. They separating the families and they're deporting the parents, right? And they're not allowing the children to go anywhere. They keep them in cages, right? They're wrapping them in tinfoil. Now read that again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Now doesn't that sound familiar? What you just said is in the Bible. He said thy sons and daughters will be given to another people. Go ahead.
And thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
He said our eyes will look and fail with longing. Meaning we desire to get our children back, but there's nothing we can do about it. Read.
And there shall be no might in thy hand.
Go ahead.
The fruit.
So he said there will be no might in our hand. Can our people do anything about that? Can we get our children back?
Yeah.
So now God is telling you what's going to happen. But now why did this happen to us? Why are we going through these things? Why do you think it is?
I don't know.
We don't know.
They don't want us to unite.
Right?
We're all the same.
But why did God put that on us?
I don't know.
I'm going to show you right now. Read verse 15.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass.
He said it's going to happen. Go ahead.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If we didn't listen to the voice of God, read. The voice of God is right here in this Bible. Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
To do what?
All his commandments. And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Go ahead.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So you heard that he said if we didn't do the commandments, our people will be cursed. Right now, like you said, all the things that we just broke down, those are all curses that's happening to us. Why is it? Because we're not keeping God's commandments.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support.